So are you that Siege player that plays rank obsessively, but for some reason you don't really feel like you're improving? In fact, you feel like it's harder to get ranks than it was the season before? Or like you're one of those players that are like, I used to be gold 1, but for now I'm silver or bronze? Well, today we're going to be going over 15 tips on how to improve and rank up in Rainbow Six Siege. So we're going to be going over some movement tips, some general gameplay tips, and just overall like how to play better in Rainbow Six in 15 tips. Let's get to it. All right, tip number 1, how to enter into a door without dying instantly. So during prep, you get one drone. A lot of times I'll place my drone on where I'm going to enter in from and not just drive into sight until it's shot. So I have a drone here, so I know instantly at a glance that the room is clear. So I can just open this door and I'm good. And I can get back on this cam and I can watch that way. And I'm have another cam to drone forward. Let's see if I want to go into blue bar, and I'm good. Tip number 2, we're going to talk crosshair placement. So when I'm peeking into the unknown, or if I have a drone and I know that someone's there, you're going to want to peek head height ready for a gunfight like I am right here. So head height is just, you know, straight across like door frame right here. Head height is this crouch head height. So you're either going to be if you're crouching in, aiming crouch head height is fine, but if you feel like they're standing, then aim head height. Practice that so you get used to like aiming at both at different angles. Then I can come in and I know, and just like that, the movement is already way better. And I'm ready for a fight if anyone ever shows up. Tip number 3 is to stop sprinting into rooms and then pulling your gun up, because you are most likely going to die. Make sure if you're going into a room that is most likely will have a defender in it, that you have your gun up and you're ready to shoot back. Because if you have to pull your gun up from the hip, the ADS speed is going to get you killed. Tip number 4 is how to enter into a building silently across the map. So hitting at panel 2 and 3, and then hitting at panel 5 and 6. And if you have parts like this, it's fine. You can shoot it off and you can crouch walk through, no problem. Especially if it's a suppressor, they're not going to really hear that. So the reason for doing that is you want to avoid this sound. That sound lets defenders know that there's an attacker probably coming inside the building, and you're gonna be in a gunfight or a firefight that you might not be ready for a lot faster than you would think. So coming in silently is definitely a key in Rainbow Six Siege, because intel is everything. Speaking of intel is everything, the compass. So a lot of times people won't really know how to do calls, they won't know a map, and above the compass is exactly where that area is. So most of the calls in this map are going to be right above the compass. Is usually what people are going to call them. Second floor hallway, billiards room, here's aquarium, luggage, or south hallway. Here's second floor hallway, theater, penthouse, etc. So if you don't know calls at all on this map, going off the compass isn't necessarily a bad thing. And if you want to be a little bit more specific, you can say he's in the northwest of penthouse. He's in the southeast of theater. If you're really new and you're not really quite sure on the name of a certain area, doing this is not a bad idea. So tip number 6, we're going to be talking about how to throw grenades at the ceiling. So you can mark, and at 7 meters away, it is really easy to throw a grenade, but I'm going to show you guys a little bit of an easier way. Just do that. It'll take a couple tries to really learn how to do it, but like once you figure out like the timing, it'll be really easy to just kind of gauge it based off the timer. So you really want to start throwing it when it's blinking pretty quickly before it goes off. So it's fine to throw a grenade slightly too early and maybe miss than to blow yourself up. It's better to be safe than sorry. So throw it early and you're fine. The reason for doing this is you can kill people through the floor or destroy utility from underneath. Tip number 7 is how to safely get into a room when there's multiple angles that you might potentially die from. So obviously you're going to want to drone. So you're going to drone, make sure that your close is clear. And yes, you're not going to be able to drone everything, but you're going to want to drone enough to where you can drone off one side to make sure it's clear that you can watch the other side aggressively. So if I can isolate one side that I can just hold with my gun up, then I can walk in no problem. As long as my gun's up, I'm good. And by the time I get here, then I can check, make sure luggage is good, and then I'm in. Tip number 8 is a little ratty, but you guys are going to want to know how to do this. So if you feel like you might be able to get a jump on an enemy, either an attack or defense, you make a little melee hole and catch people pretty off guard. Not many people are going to expect hole like that. They will be able to see it very easily though. So if it is more of this kind of a tactic, I want to like try to get a shot off, and then I want to get out. I make a melee hole, try to find the shot, and I'll get out. Or I'll do this, find the shot, and then get out. If you leave your head there, it's very easy for the other guy to just pre-fire at your hole. You don't want to stay there for too long. Tip number 9 is if you're playing near a window, shoot out the glass on the window. You want to do that because if anyone's repelled on this window, with that glass gone, it will be a lot louder. And like I said, intel is everything. So you're going to be able to want that intel. You just be able to say, hey, there's someone repelled on the main window. And if you had a roamer, potentially, if you know someone's on the main window, they could run down here, tap this window, and shoot them off. Tip number 10 is instead of sprinting down halls or walking like this, either crouch walk over. It'll mask your audio quite considerably while keeping your gun up, because if someone swings, you want to be ready. Or if you're standing, you can alt walk up to the angle. That will mask your audio. They're not going to be necessarily too sure where you're at. Versus walking around like this, your audio is very loud and is very easy to tell where you are up to the door. You do want to play aggressive like this if you know where someone's at and you're ready to fight them, but making that much noise, they will probably also be ready to fight you. Tip number 11 is another ratty play, but it will save you a lot of headaches in Rainbow Six. Is when you drop off a ledge, shoot at least one bullet to mask your drop. You can either throw a flashbang or shoot your gun. Either way is fine. Here's the drop when it sounds normally. And a lot of people will be able to tell that sound like, oh, he jumped off a black belt. They'll know your position very quickly versus me doing this. They're not quite sure that I dropped because they heard a shot, and you can try to be even more tricky and shoot a couple more bullets. You shoot a couple bullets as you fall, and they're not really going to be sure if you're pre-firing at somebody or if you're dropping. Tip number 12 on defense, make sure you're reinforcing, but don't just reinforce everything. You want to be smart about how you're reinforcing. Occasionally in ranked, you will see people making rotates and lines of sight. Remember when you see those, because you're going to want to be able to copy that. Making lines of sight and rotates is essential to winning on defense. If you just reinforce every wall willy-nilly, yes, the site itself will be safe, but let's say like we reinforce every wall on here and they're on that window and that door, all they have to do is watch this door and they can just come in. You want to give them multiple points of entry, multiple places of threat to engage them. Tip number 13 on how to do jump outs properly. So every barricade will be destroyed in 3 shots, but if you melee under the window, the other team won't be able to actually see that it is already ready and prepped for a jump out, leaving you free to jump out whenever you want. So here's the camera to show you what it looks like. You can see on that window, even the glass is still up. You have no idea that that window is prepped, and I can just vault right out of it and kill someone at the service store. Tip number 14 on how to find your perfect sense. So find an area, it can be any map, find an area that has like 4 or 5 columns that all look very similar, and just work on doing this. 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5. Try to do that quickly and reasonably fast, and you can find your perfect sense. If you feel like you're too slow, like I'm trying to flick and I feel like I have to over flick, I'm under flicking a little bit, maybe raise your sense. And if you feel like you're having to double back because you're going too far, maybe your sense is too fast. You want to be able to go directly to each one quickly and accurately. Play around with that. You can find your perfect sense very fast. Tip number 15, something I don't see a lot of people do that is honestly one of my favorite things to do, is when I have impacts, if I know someone's in blue bar or potentially near cool vibes, I call this the Kool-aid Man strat. So where you want to throw the impact is right, like just in the center of mass. You want the center of the mass so you can be able to run through it full speed without stopping. So the reason why I do that is so I can rotate quickly and catch people off guard. Let's say someone's coming in through mud and they're not quite sure that there's an enemy at blue bar, and I kill them. They're not going to be aware that I came in that quickly. They're going to hear the impact, so they're going to be looking, but they're not going to be ready for that firefight as ready as I am, because I'm making that initial engagement. Half the time in Siege, if you're the one pushing and they're not really ready for you, you're going to come out on top. All right, guys, that is it for today on my 15 tips on how to improve at Rainbow Six. This guy was made more for the guys that are just coming back to Siege or fairly new to Siege on things you might not know, because people aren't really going to tell you these things and how to improve in Siege. So we are going to be doing another video on operator specific tips like a zombie runouts. That will be in the next video, so make sure to drop a sub, leave a like, and tell me what you guys want to see next in the comments down below. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and hopefully this helps out. Rank up. Let me know if it helped you. Peace out, guys.